Vikings, let's win this game.
Vikings fans, buckle up because something big is brewing in Minnesota, and it feels like a summer storm about to crack the sky open. This isn't just a minor shuffle at the bottom of the roster. We're talking about real conversations involving signings, trades, and even the possibility of someone walking back through that door. The Vikings are scanning the quarterback market, weighing changes in the backfield because of cap pressure, and keeping tabs on players who might suddenly become available in the next few days. When the front office starts moving like this, it's not random noise. It's a chess match. And the decisions coming could steer this franchise onto a completely different highway. Stick with me because this market could flip the whole board. Let's dive in. The real work for a quarterback doesn't begin under stadium lights. It starts in quiet rooms and empty fields long before fans show up. That's where this whole thing circles back to J.J. McCarthy. What Kevin O'Connell said at the Combine wasn't a coronation speech. He didn't wrap the job in a bow and hand it to him. Instead, he stressed competition in that quarterback room. When a head coach talks like that, you can almost hear the tension humming like an amp before kickoff. I felt it too, but there's another layer. O'Connell called McCarthy hungry to grow, and for the first time, he's set up for a fully healthy offseason. Last year was a roller coaster. Meniscus injury, rehab grind, lost development time, and every missed rep is like sand slipping through your fingers. Now the focus is sharpening the blade, one edge at a time. He's out in California working with John Beck again. Same pre-draft connection, trying to come back in April ready to floor it. This moment is massive for him in Minnesota. 10 starts last season gave us flashes and bruises. There were afternoons he looked like he owned the field. There were others where a split-second hesitation turned into disaster. In this league, a heartbeat can decide everything. Experience matters, but time doesn't slow down. If a high-level veteran walks in, that runway shortens in a hurry. If it's a true battle, then it becomes survival of the sharpest. And I want to see who thrives when the spotlight burns hottest, because wearing that uniform isn't light work. In the same breath, O'Connell touched on internal free agents. Eric Wilson came up. Dependable, adaptable, always doing the gritty stuff. O'Connell made it clear they'd love him back, but he knows other teams watched that tape too. That's the league. Produce and people call. A linebacker who knows the system is priceless, especially in purple and gold. Jalen Naylor got his flowers too. Speedy has grown inside that building into a complete receiver who attacks improvement every day. He may not dominate headlines, but he shows up when it counts. And again, other teams notice that kind of growth. If someone flashes money and opportunity, Minnesota has to respond. Carson Wentz was mentioned as well. Even arriving late, he boosted the quarterback room. O'Connell didn't shut the door there, and that lines up with the competition message. It's not a promise, it's a flare shot into the sky. And yes, it lands right at McCarthy's feet. You won't get this kind of straight talk anywhere else. So jump in and let me know. Do you want a full-blown QB duel, or do you prefer a steadier veteran approach? Hang around, because what's coming next digs into the backfield and it hits both your emotions and the cap sheet. Sometimes a player fits so naturally you forget he wasn't always here, and that's the feeling around Aaron Jones. That's why this conversation stings. He gave this team everything you could ask for. 2 seasons, nearly every game. Production on the ground, impact in the passing game, and that veteran presence that keeps a locker room steady. But the NFL isn't sentimental. When you stare at his cap hit for 2026, reality slams the table. That number is huge for a running back, and that's where debate explodes among those who lives and breathes Vikings football. You can respect what someone's done and still decide it's time to pivot. Jones is 31. He missed games last year. The burst isn't quite the same. He's still good, but here's the brutal question. Can this team get more explosive at that spot and save money at the same time? A lot of fans believe so, and I get why. That puts Minnesota at a fork in the road. If they move on, do they look to free agency or wait for the draft? A veteran brings experience, pass protection, and the ability to pick up blitzes so the quarterback doesn't get flattened. For a team eyeing the playoffs in 2026, that's appealing. A rookie can light it up, but he can also miss an assignment and sink a drive. In January, one bad series can end everything. Free agency, though, costs real cash. Big names won't come cheap. Even the next tier demands significant money. And running backs don't age like fine wine. Pay now, regret later. That's the risk. The draft changes the equation. Young legs, rookie contract, and the chance to hit on day 2. It's one of the few positions where first-year players can impact games fast. Not guaranteed, but possible. The thought process? Be patient, grab someone in the 3rd round, and allocate premium picks to positions like offensive line, corner, or pass rush. Those are game-tilting spots. Another piece of this puzzle is scheme. O'Connell's offense isn't just about running straight ahead. It demands reads, timing, and protection awareness. A young back must be mentally sharp or he becomes empty numbers that disappear when things tighten. I'm split. Part of me wants to rework Aaron Jones's deal and keep the known stability. Another part looks at the numbers and says, this is business. If cutting costs at running back unlocks funds for the defense or the quarterback room, that ripple spreads everywhere. One move affects the next. So I'm asking you straight up, are you drafting youth or paying for proven output in 2026? Because what's coming next makes the McCarthy situation feel even heavier. Quick pause before we roll into the next wave. If you're riding with this channel, lock in with us. Hit that button and make sure you're part of the crew. Drop your thoughts below too, because this space is built for real back and forth, not corporate talking points. All right, let's keep it moving, because what's ahead digs deep into the direction of this franchise. You know how sometimes a calm sentence can sound like thunder if you're paying attention? That's how these quarterback comments feel right now. This isn't just routine competition talk, there's weight under it. J.J. McCarthy is again the center of gravity because Kevin O'Connell admitted the timeline has shifted. He didn't say he's out on the kid, but he did say they have to use the data and the experiences they've gathered to make decisions. Translation for fans? Belief alone won't cut it. You need production, and you need it now. Then Ben Lieber stepped in and interpreted those comments as a signal the team could pursue a veteran ready to start immediately while McCarthy develops another year. When a former Viking reads it that way, ears perk up. He understands the room. He understands coded language. Rob Brzezinski added fuel by saying the team will explore every option. He didn't hand McCarthy the keys. He emphasized the need for a baseline level of quarterback play for the offense to function. That's a clear public message. Nothing is locked in. From there, rumors started spinning like a ceiling fan on high. Kyler Murray surfaced as a name. Alec Lewis pointed out the financial angle. If Arizona can't find a trade and chooses to release him, Murray hits the open market. Then it's his call. Does he chase long-term security somewhere else? Or take a one-year prove-it deal in a strong setup? If he leans toward that short-term route, Minnesota becomes interesting. Suddenly, the quarterback competition isn't theory anymore. I'll say this plainly. I don't automatically buy the sit McCarthy for another year plan. This is the NFL. If a top-tier veteran shows up, players will rally behind whoever gives them the best shot to win on Sunday. That's the truth. Still, I get the anxiety. 2025 was a mixed bag for McCarthy. Bright moments and hard lessons. That's why these comments feel uneasy, like a light flickering before a power outage. So tell me, if a legit veteran option becomes real, are you making the move, or are you riding with McCarthy through the turbulence? Because the next part pulls an old name back into the spotlight, and timing makes it even more intense. Then you see ESPN project Kirk Cousins as Minnesota's possible starter in 2026, and it's like someone reopened an old chapter you thought was closed. This isn't a signed deal. It's a prediction, but a national projection right before free agency? That grabs attention. Add to that the fact the Atlanta Falcons are expected to release Kirk Cousins at the start of the new league year on March 11th, and you can almost hear the clock ticking. That date becomes the launch point for everything. The reasoning is straightforward. If the current quarterback path doesn't deliver stability, you pivot to a known quantity. Cousins brings nearly 45,000 career passing yards and 298 touchdowns. In Minnesota, he logged over 23,000 yards and 171 touchdowns across 6 seasons. A 13-4 record in 2022. A strong start in 2023 before injury cut it short. That profile screams reliability, not necessarily a championship ceiling, but a sturdy floor. And when you believe your roster can contend, stability looks attractive. But here's the reality check. Cousins is 37 and has earned more than $320 million in his career. He won't come cheap. Even on a shorter deal, it's a financial commitment. That forces tough choices. Do you reinvest in someone familiar, or do you pour resources into other areas and commit to the youth movement? Emotionally, fans are split. Some remember the level he was playing at before the injury in 2023. Others replay the playoff exits and late-game misses. That tug-of-war resurfaces every time his name appears. If he hits the market, Minnesota will evaluate. They have to. But evaluation isn't a handshake agreement. It's not random that this speculation grows while McCarthy's future feels unsettled. When the quarterback seat wobbles, every veteran becomes relevant. Cousins, given his history, will always draw conversation. A reunion would shift leadership dynamics, expectations, and outside perception overnight. Those who lives and breathes Vikings football would be split down the middle. So here's the real question. Would bringing Cousins back mean the young plan hasn't convinced the building, Or would it simply be a calculated move to secure a dependable baseline? That answer carries weight, and what comes next might hit even harder. Now we get to something that isn't about cap math or roster projections. This one is personal. Sam Darnold. After leaving Minnesota, he lands in Seattle and hoists the Lombardi Trophy. That alone stirs something, but the real gut punch was his interview. Asked if he sensed a lack of belief from the Vikings, he didn't dodge. He said they didn't want him back. He admitted it was tough to accept. It hurt, but after stepping back, he understood the decision. When a former quarterback speaks like that, it resonates. It's not theatrics. It's clarity. He believed he could continue here. The organization chose a different path. At that moment, the direction was J.J. McCarthy. Youth, upside, financial flexibility. The logic was there, but after an uneven 2025 season, the storyline shifted fast. Watching Darnold win elsewhere makes the what-if questions echo louder. What if he had stayed? What if continuity changed everything? The league doesn't follow straight lines, but when the offense struggles, second-guessing creeps in. At the same time, the decision wasn't reckless. The front office aimed for a reset and a new cycle. When immediate success doesn't follow, scrutiny rises like heat off pavement. Those who lives and breathes Vikings football start replaying every fork in the road. Darnold didn't blast anyone. He was measured and respectful. He stood by his confidence. He admitted the disappointment. He expressed gratitude for Seattle. That speaks to maturity. No fireworks, just diverging paths. But choices have consequences. Right now, Minnesota stands at another intersection. McCarthy trying to prove he's the guy. Veteran rumors in the air. Kirk Cousins back in headlines. Kyler Murray floating in speculation. And Darnold's words lingering in the background. That raises the stakes for the next quarterback call. If this evaluation goes sideways again, the narrative will stick around for years. Nobody wants to relive regret every February. So understand this. It's not only about who lines up in 2026, it's about the identity of this franchise, the direction, the version of the Vikings that takes the field to defend the North. That's the thread tying all of this together. I've been through rebuilds and seasons that felt like a mirage on the horizon. What's unfolding now feels like a defining fork in the road. J.J. McCarthy under pressure to take a leap. Aaron Jones possibly heading out. Kirk Cousins hovering as a steady alternative. Sam Darnold holding a trophy and saying he wasn't part of the future here. This isn't background chatter. This is about who the Vikings are going to be. Either they commit fully to the future with conviction, or they grab stability and chase the present. The middle lane is gone. So I'm throwing it to you. Where do you stand? This is real conversation, real emotion, all wrapped in purple and gold. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.